All right, so I wanted to show you a little exercise of what I do with Kenny before we go into a store. So we've worked a lot on the weight. He knows that he has to wait before getting out, and so he's just kind of laying down in the crate like he would normally when we're transporting him somewhere. You don't have to use a kennel to transport a dog or have him in the crate, but I think there's some safety aspects of it, and in fact, my insurance policy requires me to have a dog in a kennel or some kind of seatbelt system. And so this is really difficult because there's a lot of anticipation on his part of what we're about to do, but it can lead to that pushy behavior that it's the little things with him that I think are going to make the biggest deal. So I'm right off the bat, this is training. Right before we even get into the store, this is training, and just opening and shutting the door and then making sure that he's waiting. Good boy. Job. And he's doing really good with this, but in the beginning of getting him out in public, he was like right at the door, pushing through the door, trying to get out. Now he's just kind of like, well, I'm just laying down like I normally would when I hang out in the car. Okay, Ken. Okay. Good boy. And then, yeah, now we're ready. And that's really good. So that's step one before we even go inside. I'll get another video of step 2. You ready to go? All right, so step 2, roll up my leash here. You don't have to use a long line in the store, but I'm going to because we're going to work a little bit on some distance exercises where I actually am going to put him in like a stay command and make sure that he can hold it, and I'm going to be further away from him. Good. So right out here, I just come to, just the front of the store and I start to prime. So what I mean by that is I start to get him in a really good training space. He's got some really calm energy right now. If I'm seeing that he's going to be more amped, I might put him in the transitional on the leash where it goes, the figure 8 goes over his nose. But I'm liking where he's at. I want him to be able to move away from that so that he can just walk nicely on a collar without needing extra stuff. Can he place? Sometimes I'll even make him get up on things. The place command can go out and about. So this is what I mean with some distance. So I can drop the leash and step on it. Your little leg is tied up there, bud. Get you untied. Good place. Good job. So we've even had some people walking in and out of the store. And I want to build value in this stay command. So I'm really cautious about how excitable I get with him. If I'm like, oh, you did so good, and I'm like revving him up, his brain just gets so clouded he can't think. But if I come in with food that we've built value to, because he hasn't seen it from a bowl, he's only seen it from working, so the value has increased. I can reward him in a calm manner but still keep it really positive and fun for him, because with a lot of the touch and stuff, I don't want it to bring adrenaline. I want it to be calm. But right now, even if I'm not like going to pet him and get him all crazy, I can just come in and say, that's a good job on placing. I really like what you're doing. Okay, good. And then I want to make sure that he's really clear on the release, because otherwise he won't stay as well because he'll be confused on when it's appropriate to get up. Place. Try it again. Place. Do a little e-collar there. So anytime I have to give a secondary command, I'm going straight to the e-collar. And that's where levels can change, because I think a lot of people are so hesitant to use the e-collar because they think it only needs to be for like really dramatic corrections, when in fact it doesn't. I'm on a level 6 that's super low. Now he can get high based on how adrenalized he is, but 6 is fine. Like if he feels 6 and he resolved it, that's great. I don't need crazy levels for him, but I am going to use it pretty religiously. Good job, bud. Build that value. Okay, super. That's great. Ken in the store. So this is why I like the long line, is because I can work on a little bit more of a stay with him. So the down is hard for him because it requires so much impulse control and also vulnerability. There's a lot to be, there's a lot of trust here. There's a lot of vulnerability that dogs feel in the downstay. And I think it's important that we make it a very common practice with our dogs because of that, because it is uncomfortable. It's something that's hard, especially when we're dealing with adrenaline and different states of mind. I mean, being required to lay down is extremely difficult. And so we want to make sure that we are working him pretty consistently in something that's difficult. I mean, that's just how we get better. And so I'm building a lot of value in this. So I'm saying Kenny down, and then I'm insisting on some permanence, and then I'm rewarding him. So I'm coming up and I'm giving him food, and then I'm going away. So the food doesn't mean you're done. Even if I'm like, oh, puppy, 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 that doesn't mean you're done, right? You have to wait till I actually release you. Now, this is where it's hard, because when adrenaline kicks in and he gets excited and other people do that, we need to be on top of it with him. We need to come in and say, no, Kenny, I did not release you. Because sometimes there's just triggers, excitement triggers, and things that make dogs nervous, or there's going to be a number of things that life will throw at him, and so we need him to understand down means down until I release you from that command. And that's all just going to look like me coming up to him, paying him. So I'm teaching him to be a little bit more patient. I want to come up and release him from close versus far away. I like that he broke his hip there to the side. That tells me there's a little bit more relaxation and commitment. Good. And I can even okay, release him from right here. So that way I'm starting to get him to understand, you need to wait for me. When I go away, you're not waiting to be released. You're waiting for me to come get you, essentially. Good job, buddy. And his tail is a lot more relaxed. Outside the store, we were pretty low. Inside the store, we got up to about a 12. So that will probably come down as we work more and more inside the store. So I'm even going to kind of bump it down to a 9. And that's so common. I think a lot of us get stuck on, my dog works on this specific number, but they work in a range of numbers because their emotions are going to have a range. Sometimes he's nervous, sometimes he's excitable, sometimes he's frantic. So there could be a number of things. Can he heel? Good. Number of distractions, people talking, all kinds of stuff. Good job, buddy. This is good. Yeah, but what's nice about the appropriate correction is we just match the dog's state of mind level with whatever level we need to get. And that comes with playing with the e-collar a little bit and the dog. We're not playing with it and going high, but we are saying, good, Ken. Good job. So somebody walking right at us and he chose to stay in that heel. That's a payment moment right there. That's a treat moment. Good job, buddy. So he's now we've got all different types of things that we're working through. So we're, obviously building that positive reinforcement with the food, but in a way that's not getting him neurotic. And then we're also coming in with e-collar, and we're putting a little bit of pressure on him to resolve positions or, fix things that he broke too soon on. And then we're coming in and we're correcting certain behaviors that he may or may not do. Like if he were to start barking or pulling on the leash or jumping, Kenny down. And we would add a consequence for those specific behaviors and then come in and follow through with obedience to show him exactly what to do. This is kind of a busier part of the store. Good. Good job. So that's good. So see, he gets excitable. I come in and I pay him. Good. And he's going to feed off of people's energy. Somebody was just getting kind of excited. And so I need to be more aware of the environment. Kenny down if he breaks too soon. Down. There's the e-collar button on the 9 still. Good. If I need to boost, then I have it. And the boost we can set and adjust. Like some dogs will boost he's at a 10, but some dogs will boost to 3, some dogs will boost to 5, some dogs I've had set to 15. Just there's a lot of variables at how fast the dog gets, adrenalized, or the coat of the dog, or, if the dog is a sensitive dog or not a sensitive dog. And so we just adjust it based on what the dog needs. And having Kenny the last couple of weeks, 10 seems to be really appropriate for him, where as I allow more freedom for him and I see him starting to get adrenalizing, like what he did with the beagle yesterday, I can hit the boost button when he's just wandering in the house and he's starting to pick on the other dogs. We're saying, hey buddy, she's not interested. The black button, if it's set to a low level, he most likely will not feel it because he's so aroused. But if I go to the red button, it's a little bit more just to match the state of mind that he's in. So e-collar levels are like kind of a make it or break it with him. Good boy. Okay, Ken. Yeah, good job, buddy. That was good. See, he's great. He's like, pay me, feed me. So I love making him work for his food because I can always add higher value treats. But if I make the kibble that he eats daily valuable, then if I had a higher value treat, it's just extra. So I really like him to earn his meals. And I'm going to have him do that for the first couple of weeks coming home. And because he's not a large dog, he doesn't need like 5 cups a day. But my treat pouch holds 2 cups of food. So typically what I'll do is I'll fill a cup of his food and then some extra treats in there. If I'm going to a place like this at a store. Kenny down. Nice. And we're working on having him be a little bit more comfortable in the down. The way that he's laying is a very intense posture. I would like him to break his hips more and relax in the down. And so that's going to be some of our goals, is just, we call this duration work. Essentially, it's really boring. We just wait for the dog to relax in the position. So that will be good for him.